you.
Hello.
Thanks for joining
Ladies
in.
and gentlemen, warm welcome from sunny Berlin. It's another Tuesday, but this time is a Super Tuesday because it's the very first time that we have two ladies beyond flying presenting. The first one we had an hour ago under the Airline Crewing Enigma Initiative. Lady Beyond Flying Camille gave a talk, and it's now Goolnaz session. She will describe her journey from a small town and to the global world. And it will be fantastic presentation. I know that already. And it was also quite difficult to get you on the session because you also had a conflict, but I'm glad that you agreed to make this presentation. So stage is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. And indeed, it's a pleasure to be on the panel today and talk about my journey. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I did have conflicting things, but I felt this session was more open and talking about my experiences, which would be just free flowing rather than preparing too much. So thank you. What I'll do is I'll just put some slides together to just take you through my international journey. Uh, Claire, I think you are the only one who doesn't really know me, but I basically am an Indian, but had a very international life in the Middle East as well as now in Germany. So I had a working career in Dubai and now in Hamburg. So warm greetings from me. Uh, I'm just sharing my screen. Just bear with me, please. Let me know when you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I wish the session to be really very interactive. Please do not hesitate to just interrupt me or raise your hands or put in your comments. Daniel, please help me to monitor that as I share my screens. I will not be able to see who would like to say a few words, but in fact, being from different countries and around the world, I would be highly interested to know your viewpoints, how it actually works in your country. Glad to please interrupt me. So as I start, what I would like to say is basically at a corporate level, we talk about diversity, equality, and inclusion on how organizations try to adopt and enforce that on employees. But I would say from within that it is like up to an individual, how the individual adopts, and I will take you through my story where how I adopted with the different nationalities, cultures, and religions across. So it was a beautiful journey and a good experience. I come from a very small town in India that is called Jhansi, and it is in the state of Uttar Pradesh. For those who have studied Indian history would be very well aware of Jhansi Ki Rani, meaning the Queen of Jhansi. She was actually a national hero who fought very bravely and courageously and full of determination to fight against the British. I don't know if the attitude or things start from there, but it does have an influence, I must say, because every time I say I come from Jhansi, oh, you are the Jhansi Ki Rani. So I said, no, I don't belong to that national hero. But yeah, it does like, where the society was very conservative. And over there, the couples only wished to have a male child. The approach was that, a female child was not always welcomed. It was either aborted or abandoned. And there were actually many reasons around it. Firstly, I would say the insecurity or what the safety of the girl child. We read about many situations in the newspapers about rape, torture, and how people or girls are getting raped in not only India, but many international cities. But in India, it's just a little height because we cannot expect a speedy judgment. And secondly, the attitude of the society towards the victim. It was always the girl that was blamed. And this is where I actually came from, those roots. So it was so very difficult when a girl child is born, parents to accept a girl child. The safety was one of the main concerns for Indian parents. Then, secondly, was the gender gap. There existed a big, wide gender gap, I must say. It was like if a woman earns equal to or more than the husband, it was still her responsibility to take care of the household. That is, covers the husband, the children, the house, cooking. To top it up, the husband's family. So she is the main responsible person to take care of the entire family. And this is where I came from. Moreover, it was like if a boy had X number of affairs or did not know how to cook, it was absolutely fine and cool. But if a girl did the same thing, it was not acceptable. Thirdly, we hear about the dowry system in India. The parents of a girl child need to give a heavy, hefty dowry to the boy's family whom she is getting married to. These were some of the cases where everybody in India is not so rich to give a heavy dowry. But thankfully, with these immense society pressure, I was born and blessed in a very modern thinking and open minded family. In My parents were a great support, where not only they sent me to a convent school, they spent on my education, which was really expensive, while the other parents could not. One of the reasons did not want to invest in their girl child, and secondly, they did not want the movements were so restricted for girls that were too scared to send them to school. But my parents were very open minded, modern thinking, and of course, they believed in my dreams. And this is where I basically, with their support, I tried to make my dreams come true, where they sent me not only to a expensive school, a convent school, which was run by the British nuns and was only for girls. This not only empowered me as an individual, but also made me safe. When I say safe, I mean mentally and physically safe. I was away from all trauma, all abuse, all torture, say it anything. And I had the freedom to express myself. And this is where my parents always supported me. And because they believed that, when you invest in a girl child, she not only changes her own life, but also of the community. And this is where I believe that, took me to the next steps. And I said, I need to prove my parents and make my dreams come true. And that is where, I finished my schooling and was time to get into a college. And the colleges in the small town in Jhansi were not so reputed or not safe, I would say, were not safe. And that is the time that my parents understood my dreams and they supported me to get admissions in a college that was in Mumbai. And that's where my journey started. So to make that dream come true, great support from them, and I moved to Mumbai. It was not easy for a small town girl to move to a metropolitan city. A lot of things changed. Of course, being from a small town, I wore long clothes, which totally covered my body. was very reluctant to talk to people. But when I moved to the metropolitan city, it was so very different. Things changed. My dressing sense changed. My attitude changed. How I approached people changed. And of course, it developed me, I must say. I had to leave my comfort zone and move to a city where it was totally bustling, very modern. In the beginning, I found it very odd, but I had to make a step. I cried, faced a lot of challenges, but still, I have to do it. That kept me going. But it would be interesting as how it developed me. I learned how to protect myself. I wore shorter clothes, but I knew how I need to behave. I was very ambitious. My mother was an ideal figure. She was a teacher, and like I had pictured myself that when I grow big, I will become a teacher too. But when I went to the city life, I saw airplanes flying over my head. And I said, I wish I could be flying in an aircraft, or I wish I could be working for an airline. And that is the time I started having bigger dreams, I would say. And uh, it was seriously like, uh, I want to do something, but I want, like, how do I do it? I wanted to be an aerostewardess, but I knew my height never permitted that. So I never tried. But it was sheer irony that I was traveling in a train and I met a gentleman who, like, happened to just talk to me. And it started all from there, where I started my working career in Mumbai, working for a back office of Swissair. It was sheer irony. So it was, I knew I was responsible to whom I am talking. Of course, if I was in that little town, I would be very reluctant to talk a person. But here, I was like feeling comfortable because I knew what I was doing. I learned to be independent. I learned to be strong. And I could figure out what is right and what is wrong. And the vibes what I used to get were very positive. So I feel the switch from a small town or a small city, Jhansi, to a metropolitan Mumbai made a lot of difference. Of course, I forgot to mention that's where I started my job and I got married. And then, as opportunities arose, there was a job in Emirates Airlines, and I moved and joined Emirates Airlines. That was like, wow, oh, you're working for a direct airline, and it's, of course, I made all my dreams come true when I worked for Emirates for 18 years. I traveled around the world, and of course, I'm blessed with a boy who was a kid, now is an adult here. So it has overall given him an international experience as well. So I'm glad that I have done my mother duties as well very well. Uh, this is like, what changed when I moved to Dubai. A lot of things changed. The culture changed, the people changed. There was a gender gap, but the laws changed. But it was up to me to adapt to it, and I adapted to it very well. I respected the religion, I respected their culture, I respected their laws, and I tell you truly, the 18 years just flew by. I made wonderful friends who became like families who supported, and that is where, like, I developed myself further working for Emirates. I also kept studying and enhancing because I was always a career oriented woman. So that is the time I started doing my leadership program. And end of 2014, I also graduated in the leadership uh, uh, ceremony. So it was a fantastic experience to get back to college at that age, being a mother, and enjoy the learning. So it was wonderful. What you see in the picture is my beautiful family, who not only supported me throughout, because the laws were different, the culture was different, and we were not very far. So wherever I had difficulties and challenges, they were always there near me. They were like real pillars. Moreover, what you see in the picture is a lot of people. These are people of different nationalities. How I adapted and respected. We celebrated together different festivals and different ceremonies, of course. Like, every we did not shy away from celebrating together anything what was there. Though I'm neither a Hindu, neither a Muslim or a Christian, but we enjoyed celebrating everything together, irrespective where they came from, which nationality or which state they are. As you know, India is really big and we have like 28 states, but I did not shy away from celebrating anything uh, what was celebrated by my other colleagues or friends at workplace. So it was a great bonding, I must say. Where diversity was concerned, we respected, shared views. It was overall great. And in the end, I would say I was the one who benefited out of the different viewpoints, the different gender gaps, and things like that with immense experiences. And this is where in Dubai I started my passion for playing cricket. It all started where I played indoor cricket and represented my department. And of course, we did win that time, but it was more at the departmental level and only indoor cricket. But it was amazing to see being in UAE where you see a lot of gender gap, but actually the men came together to support the women team. You could see the vibes in them, like, departmental people, all the men together clapping their hands. Come on, let's win. I think that's the motivational part. The gender gap existed, but over a period of time, it did shrink. Let me know if I am talking too much or any questions, because I would love to know different viewpoints. Then was a shift to moving to Germany. With a job opportunity in Germany, I moved to Hamburg. And this is where I am since the last 4.5 years now. And to tell you truly, this is where a place where Indians have been so respected. I have never received the kind of respect that I receive in this organization. As far as diversity is concerned, my superiors really make sure that talent is well represented. And in various events or various, it's like, would you like to participate? It's a different culture where in UAE it was like you have to do it. In India, you have to do it. But here they ask you whether do you want to do it. This makes a difference. And this makes me feel really excited and committed on everything that I do in this country, where not only where before coming here, I read a lot as to what could be the potential challenges I could face, and how I could bridge that gap. I knew about the language barrier. I knew about people's attitude. But to tell you truly, if I could adapt so easily, I do not really see the challenge. And uh, indeed, I did learn the language because during the Corona time was a time where I had a lot of time to myself. And that's the time I learned the language to get to know people better, to get more closer to the people here. And believe me, it's been unexpectedly, really impressive, and I enjoy it. Uh, Over here during the Corona side, when I had disconnected from social connections. That's the time I even built on my skills in cricket, and I started pursuing that a little more. And trust me, there was more diverse group over there, from South Indians to Pakistanis to Swiss people, Austrian people, and of course, many were Indians. Out of the team of 11 people, we were 5 Indians in the team. So, yeah, we had the majority, but you could also see the diverse talent from the other countries. It was, or it is still, I must say, it's we together make a superb team. And of course, I can boast about it here that last year we actually went to the Bundesliga level and we were second. So I would say that we are one of the second best teams in the whole of Deutschland. So it's a very proud moment, and I don't shy away from sharing this. And what is my mantra? This is where I like the saying from Winston Churchill that, success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage that counts. It's not that during my journey, I did not have failures. I had many failures, but I learned how to handle failures, and how to cope up or do things better the next time is something which works the best, I must say. What made me do all this was to just follow my dreams. Never give up. Adapt to changes, I must say. There is nothing that a person cannot do. A person can do everything, can even bring stars, or even, if the person really has the passion to follow. And I would say, people could not imagine that a person, an Indian, could move to Germany with a job, with her family. That was like, oh wow, it just got people's eyes out when I said in Dubai, I'm moving to Germany. You moving to Germany when all the people are moving to Canada and Australia and these countries, and I was the only one moving to a European country. So it was difficult, but I was leading by example. I was being a positive force. It's like, but at the same time, what I ensured, I did not lose my self-respect. I maintained my self-respect at all the times. Never had a challenging situations where I was let down that, oh, you are an Indian. No, we are great. So it's actually not the origin that matters. I think what matters is my passion and to follow things. This is what I would basically like to share as part of the session today. But of course, happy and very glad to hear from other people their experiences coming from a more modern thinking and not from a conservative society like me, how they adapted or they had an influence to such a situation. Would you actually dare to do it? I could put this question on the floor, being an Indian, you are born a girl has to be shy, soft spoken, could cook, a good mother, a good caretaker. But I could break all those boundaries. So why not others?
Goolnaz, maybe you stop screen sharing and then we see everybody. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. Wonderful story. Glad that I could convince you to make the presentation. And I tell you, we have people here in the audience who, I think, Arjuna, you have 1 a.m. at the moment. It's past midnight. She still
Yes,
wake
it
up
is.
because she is based in Australia. You see, you keep people wake up and they wanted to attend the session. So this is really fantastic. And I think this is a phenomenal Super Tuesday because you exactly gave the right spirit and what you shared as personal experience. I loved it, and I have to admit, cricket is a very, very difficult game. I was in India in January, and my colleagues took me to a small cricket session. Usually, every sport, I get the ball and I do something, but there it was terrible. So it was very, very sophisticated sport, and being second in the Bundesliga, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Are there
And
questions from the audience? Arjuna, please.
Thank you so much for this presentation. It's amazing, so inspiring. It's really, I'm so much relating to you with that you moved your countries, your continents, and now you're in Germany. It's really, it's amazing. And the way how you've used that, you said the COVID Corona break to improve your skills. That's amazing. My question is that, what did you had support from your management when you were going through your career? Was it something that your managers were supporting of as well? Were they people with this sort of also like multicultural background, or were they people from the country where you were living in? Could you please share that with us, please? Thank you.
gladly. Now, I had a career life in basically two countries. One is the UAE and one is Germany. Let me start with the UAE. Of course, it is difficult over there. They're always like, little like, more different approach where you are supposed to be a follower. What your boss tells you, you follow that. And as far as career development was concerned, of course, it existed, but it did not really give that support throughout. That, okay, when I wanted to climb up the hierarchy, it's like, okay, you find your way out. Is that way. But like, it's totally different in here. Here, the seniors respect your talent. They like to promote it. They give you the exposure. In India or in Dubai, what was there? It's only the top level is exposed. So the credit is given to the top boss, and we were the workers. It was that way. So that's what I find it really motivating and encouraging. Here, they act like leaders. There, they acted like bosses. Here, they develop an individual. They put you through different situations, different roles, expose you to the things. They make you talented. Of course, there are ways of improving your knowledge through trainings that existed there, exists here also. But here I find great leaders. Here I find like, they encourage you, they promote you. And within my experience of say 4 years, with 2.5 years in the Corona crisis, I am simply amazed with the superiors that I have worked with. They had not only acknowledge your effort in public, which was very different in the UAE, where they never really say, okay, with names that this was done by Goolnaz or whatever, XYZ. It was like the credit goes to the boss, but here, as a leader, they share the credit with the employees. And that is really what keeps me going and keeps me more motivated all the time. And continuously, they try to build on my skills. To tell you, in the last 4 years, the kind of skills that I have developed, the kind of confidence I have gained is immense. Daniel would actually probably second that, because when I joined Ladies, I was just a silent listener. And then I said, yeah, I can be a panel. I can be on the panel. I'll try and do my best.
I think you did the very best. So I had no doubts on that. I think it is this tip, and I remember we were checking slides and you wanted to have some advice. I think it's this typical imposter syndrome where women are more suffering it than with men, but at the end there is no reason to really suffer this imposter syndrome. And so I think what you presented should be encouragement to many, many more women to just take the opportunity. Claire, you raised your hand.
Yeah, so first, thank you so much for sharing your story. I witness a lot of courage from all of the things you've done in your life, from moving to the big city and then moving, excuse me, moving countries 2 times, and just it's a very different experience from what I have been through in the US. Even though there are challenges still for women in the US, it is very different from what you described in your hometown. One question that I have is, you were so generous to share your story with us here in Ladies Beyond Flying. How have you been able to share your story with people in your current workplace or even in a previous workplace, of the story of how you came to be in your current position and your current situation?
As far as these stories go, I think my results show it. So basically, what I would say is, like, we've not really have had a storytelling or something, but it's like as we talk, I just share my examples or my experiences. I would say, not examples, I would share my experiences, and that's where it actually shows out from where I come and what I have faced through the different challenges. Because of course there are many situations which I totally find it's so very different in Germany after coming from India, how the culture changes and everything, how people react to things here is very different. So it's just like usual talking and storytelling of experiences that really matters, and they see the results, so they can very well figure out. While in Dubai, it was a little different. uh, People did not bother what you are. You are there to just work. You were treated as a worker. You just take your salary, you work, and you go. And if you don't obey my orders, it's like you're not the best one. It's that way. So people didn't really bother in Dubai. It was like just work, 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 and go home. That's it. But of course, while working, I built up a lot of social connections and connected with the sport cricket, and it just went on. But tell you truly, I made all my dreams come true in the 18 years that I was in Dubai. So I led a very royal life there. And the decision to move to Germany was not really easy because I had everything over there. A person to come and clean the house, a person to come and cook, my family is so close. And being in a European country where you have to do things yourself was like totally different. But, this is where I wanted to be. I had to take those calculated risks. I had goals in my mind, I had dreams, and I'm just trying to follow them and make my dreams come true. Nothing more. So
Goolnaz, you were speaking about that everybody went somewhere else and you were the only one going to Europe. And you were, of course, consulting your friends and maybe asking for some advice and so on. Do you believe that sometimes asking friends, getting an advice, can be also the risk that they are jealous, that they are not having the same courage to do something and giving the wrong advice? With other words, how to be able to distinguish a real, honest, neutral advice from an advice where somebody is jealous and just tries to hinder that the other person is finding a better destiny.
you are right with that kind of opinion. But I was a little smart. I could figure out whom to talk to. And I only reached out to people who, for advice or any kind of recommendations or suggestions, to only people whom I trusted. So I trust a few, not all. Of course, people did make fun of me. Oh, you're going to Europe. Oh, there are a lot of laughing out loud. And the best thing to deal with such situation is to laugh out loud with them, not react. That was the thing that I followed. If they tried to be a little sneaky and to bitchy about it, sorry for using the wrong words, but that's the way I just laughed it out loud and added to the humor. I
And
didn't take it
have you
seriously.
still contact now with these people who
Of course.
gave, and what is now their opinion on that? And have they found a better spot than you, or are they even more jealous that you achieved your goal?
Exactly, the second one. That shows it. But it's like that doesn't mean that I break my connections or something of the sort. I still go to Dubai, meet the same level of friends. I still have fun, but at a different level. But now their levels of respect have changed. Their attitude has changed because they have seen it. They have to see it to actually feel it, I would say. So it was difficult for them to believe, but after that, when they see how happy I am, how successful I am with the different kind of posts and things like that, you see all thumbs up and likes and everything coming from many people. So
we have, by the way, a German proverb which says, Neid ist die deutsche Form von Anerkennung, which means envy or jealousy is the German way of recognition. So I think this is also important for everybody. If people are jealous, take it as a positive feedback in a certain way.
Exactly. I mean, I hate to react that way.
Yeah.
In fact, just see how I can act differently next time. That way. But
Is there a
interesting.
question from Jana, Sharina, Elaine, Christine? No, it is not. Claire, Ariuna? Ariuna has a question. Good.
I'm glad because I made my session really short. When I see the time, sorry, Daniel, maybe I didn't really practice enough to make it for 45 minutes.
Don't start with imposter syndrome again. It's all good. Perfect. Yeah, all good. Ariuna.
Yeah, my next question is which area are you working at right now? Did you move there? Was it like a career change, or you're sort of progressing within the same path?
I'm progressing within the same path. So it's like my talent is exposed a little more over here. Of course, my past experience counts a lot. That's where I'm able to share a lot of stories with my current colleagues and experiences. So it's like when you ask me what I am doing, it's basically more got to do with customer interactions and working together with the sales and the commercial teams on our finance solution. So we have a finance solution in Lufthansa Systems, and since I have like more than 25 years of experience on airline revenue accounting, this is where I keep progressing career-wise in Dubai as well as over here.
And you just organized very well. I saw the pictures from your customer event.
Yeah.
And you can maybe also mention that your company has now a female CEO. Okay, it's the only company in the world with 2 CEOs. That was a joke. But at least one of the CEOs is now female, which is also good.
Which is really very nice. We see female genders at more senior levels in the organization. It's not for advertising or marketing, but it's basically talent is recognized, I will say. the male dominance is not really the best, but here I would say, like, we have two CEOs, of course. One is a male, the other is a female, and it brings a fantastic combination. The different viewpoints and things like that. I have been interacting a lot more with them in the last few months, and I must say, the combination of the two makes it really good.
Perfect. Any other questions from the floor? Then thank you very much, Goolnaz. This was a very inspiring Super Tuesday Aviation Women Panel presentation from you. I liked it very much. Also, thank you
very
for
much.
the nice words about my country. I remember one of my colleagues also gave a presentation in the context of Virtual Happy Hour 3.5, an Indian living in Germany, and it's quite interesting to get the perspective from a non-German on the country, because Germans are usually very pessimistic, and I think German Angst is a common word in English. But on the other hand, I think the country has also some good
Yeah.
sides, and when it's treating you very well, I think we can be very grateful that you feel like this.
Absolutely. In fact, I would say, like, Germans are very committed to what they say. In okay, we'll see. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, okay. Here it is more direct. Is it possible? Yes or no. That's the best thing, so that you don't give false interpretations or false impression of your words and not make things happen.
But you know the German word for flexibility, which is nein. So that's why sometimes the flexibility is not always there. But let's look ahead, because next month we have another great presentation with Carlene Petit. And hopefully you will join this session too. Would be great to have you with us. Thank you again, Goolnaz, for a very inspiring presentation. Thank you to the audience, and please stay healthy, smart, upbeat, positive, and enthusiastic, and looking forward to having you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.